Hey, welcome. This is Matt with Let's Talk Music. I'm here with Rich Nguyen of Breaking in a Sequence. How we doing this evening?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. So, I was just listening to some of your tunes today, man. And to be honest with you, I love it.
Cool, man. Thanks.
It's got a I can't even say what kind of vibe it's got. I mean, in a way, I kind of think your voice sounds a little bit like Mike Patton from Faith No More, but then it's kind of got that corn sound to it, but you guys make it your own. So tell me a little bit about the band name. How did you come up with that?
When we first came out, we came out as Bias, right? As
Mm-hmm.
the band Bias. And it was like during all that political turmoil time. And basically, people couldn't find us, right? They just could not find us on the socials and all the streaming platforms. So we decided to acronym it, right? So breaking in a sequence was just one of the many names on the list that we chose from.
And it just stuck, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds cool, you know. To me, breaking in a sequence, it sounds like, software code, right? You're breaking into a sequence like a software virus. But to some other people, it could be anything. You could be having a mental breakdown, and it comes in a sequence. You're
Right.
doing it sequentially, and then you hit that final nail, and it breaks everything. You know,
Right.
so.
So the name for the album, Defy the Algorithm, is that kind of mixed in with your band name, or I mean,
Yeah, I mean, for me, Defy the Algorithm, it's more for everything is so based upon like technology these days, right?
mm-hmm.
Every facet of your life, you're on social media all the time. Everyone is like plugged in, so to speak, right? And all these bands coming out, they're dependent upon all this technology that comes out, including like Autotune and all that. And bands like grid the hell out of their drums. Um, to me, it's we tried to do things a little bit differently. Our David's not fully gridded down. We tried not to use any Autotune on on the vocals on this record, and we're just out there to try to make music like how it used to be, as
Right.
opposed to what it is now. Because I feel like the music now is all the same because it's all gridded to hell,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's all perfected, which music shouldn't be perfect because we're humans,
Right.
right? We're not robots. So I don't think that music should be perfect. And I honestly believe that stylistic playing traits, like the John Bonhams and all that, you don't have those anymore because every drummer is perfect,
Right.
and every singer is perfect. So you don't have those Jim Morrisons, you don't have those Scott Weilands anymore because um, people aren't working towards their craft as hard, to be able to sing in the studio. They're just tuning everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like what I'm saying there is defy the algorithm. Let's bring music back to what it was. Let's bring everything back to what it was. I mean, people can't even have conversations anymore. People, you go out and you look, and people are just staring at their phones all the time.
Yes, sir. And that is I'm guilty of that at times, but yeah,
Right.
I've got three girls that, yeah, that's social media, faces in the phone, especially one of them. She lives on her phone. And I'm like, when we were kids, we went out and played, we did stuff, and it's like torture to them.
Right.
So yeah,
I
I get
mean,
where.
I'm just trying to say, be aware of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to ruin us as a society, of human society, if we can't interact with each other
Right.
outside. And the music itself, like rock music right now, I feel is failing because you don't see those big bands coming out anymore. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because I mean, there's a lot of variables to that, but like I said before, I feel like all bands are starting to sound the same.
Right.
You know?
So for those that really don't know much about music. When you talk about gritting the drums, what do you mean by that?
So most songs are like a certain tempo, right? So you can just tap the tempo out, and let's say it's 103, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you take that 103 and you put it on a grid, and basically it's a grid of 4 for every bar, and you
Mm-hmm.
just move the drums to each grid so that every hit is perfect, right?
Ah.
And then you could sit there, and with most of these new songs, you can sit there and you can set a metronome to that tempo, and the whole song's that same tempo, right?
Okay.
And in the past, with older music, it would sway, it would swing a little bit, you know what I mean? Because it's human. But
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't happen anymore, because what people do now is they program the drums, and when you program the drums, it's already on the grid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you take like samples, the drum samples of the hits, and you just basically use those in the spots. So what those drum samples are perfect hits every single time, right?
Right.
So you don't have any flubs, nothing.
Yeah.
And it really bothers me.
So, I mean, I would say that somebody like, well, myself and included, I can, you can tell that difference from when you hear it on the radio or on Spotify or whatever you listen to, versus when it's in concert,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
you can pick up on the human errors at times, and it's, you'll hear it, the recovery, it's on with the song. There's not like, oh my God, he messed up, let's stop the song or anything. I get where you're coming from with that. That's I think autotune is, especially with a lot of singers, is just bad, because some of them that I've listened to, that you got YouTube videos or whatever, that they sang something without autotune, not so great. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
for music to, it's manufactured music.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of music is these days. And it
Hmm.
really, really bothers me. But going back to what you were talking about, the live aspect, that's where bands shine, because they may be all gridded in the studio, they may be auto-tuned, but when you hear them live, they sound like a different band, because they have those human nuances that are completely erased from their recording, because it's so perfected. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you get a better feel, you get that raw energy off of them,
Yeah.
and that's how I think bands should be going approaching their recordings again. I mean, I get it, I get why people do the things they do, because it's faster, you don't have to pay for the studio time as long, and if you're programming drums, you don't have to lug the drums around, you don't have to mic them up, you don't have to really find the tones for them, but at the same time it's killing stylistic traits.
Hmm. Yeah, I've heard a lot of negativity from artists towards the industry, as far as what you're talking about, the greed, the egos, stuff like that. And I feel like I've done quite a few bands like yours where those things don't exist. You're guys that just, you're getting together, you're doing something you love, and you're making great music that, is, it's a shame that there's like, how do I put it? It's a shame that you guys really got to push so hard to get it heard. Yeah, I mean, because
Yeah,
you,
I mean, we play music for the sheer love of it. I mean, granted, we're lucky that we have David in the band, right? Because David enables us to be heard, beyond where we would normally be heard, in our local city, or maybe half of SoCal, who knows, But David has enabled us to be heard abroad, and worldwide. So we're super grateful for that, and we're just doing what we're doing. We're not writing music for anyone else but ourselves, and
right.
hopefully that shows at the end of the day, you know.
So what is it that, I mean, you were talking about older bands like, Bonham and uh the Doors and whatever. So like what music did it really touch you when you was younger and made you say, hey, I want to do this?
Oh man, I was heavily influenced by Metallica
Mm.
growing up, um, and I didn't really pay attention to them until my best friend got a guitar for Christmas, right? And we were like little kids, um, and he started playing something on the guitar, and I was like, hey, I want to try that, let me see that. So I picked it up and I learned it right away. He's like, wow, you should get a guitar, we should start a band. So then after that I started looking for bands to play guitar to, and I learned all the Metallica songs, from Kill 'Em All to, I want to say, the Black Album, right? I learned them all on
Wow.
guitar, just to learn how to play guitar. And then my my buddies were like, "Oh yeah, we need a singer for our band. We don't know who it should be. Let's just draw a name out of a hat. We'll put like a question mark if we find a new guy, or we'll just have one of the guys in the band do it." And they drew my name 3 times, right?
No.
So I was like, okay, I guess I'll learn how to sing. So then I learned how to sing and play those Metallica songs, and
Nice.
so that's where I started. That's why I loved it so much. And Metallica is not gridded or anything like that. They just go for it.
Right. Especially the
um,
older stuff. I mean, when it was
yeah,
underground, that was raw metal.
yeah. And Justice, I feel, and Justice for All is like the rawest record, and it was like the hardest for them to record and perform. And I love that,
Hmm.
because that made them better.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people look at it as, their newer stuff, they kind of sold out. Um, I think that I've been guilty of that because, I grew up on Metallica and, I think of Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, the ones that just, the 10-minute long songs, the where 2.5 minutes of is a solo, I mean, it
Yeah,
I was kind of spoiled on that. And then when, it was like, well, why did James Hetfield start to learn how to sing? I mean, I loved his voice the way it was. So I mean, people also got to kind of realize that, music's always changing.
yeah. And as an artist, you have to grow, right?
Hmm.
Like it's not going to be fun playing the same thing. Let's say Metallica never changed their sound. Imagine where they would be now. They would probably be completely burnt out. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You got to try something outside of the box to try to reinvent yourself every now and then. I mean, it's the same thing in life, right?
Right.
Like, in life, you get a job and you have to reinvent yourself and evolve and grow higher in that job. You don't want to stay, let's say, like a cashier.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You want to move up in the management. You want to do all that. Have aspirations, higher aspirations.
So, what can we look forward to, from you guys in the future? Any tour plans or?
Um, I think that all the COVID rescheduling is starting to simmer down now. So hopefully we can get on some great tours as an opening act. That
Mhm.
would definitely give us exposure to bigger crowds. Um, in the meantime, we're just going to do the single cycle with Defy the Algorithm. Just drop a new single just so that people have visibility there. Um, while we were lining up this release, we jumped back in the studio and started tracking drums for the third EP.
Oh,
So we're
nice.
just trying to stay busy,
Right.
because COVID really screwed us up. I mean, we lost 2 years. We lost all the momentum that we should have had, because the iron was pretty hot back then, and
Hmm.
we lost it all. So we're just trying to play catch up.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of the bands that I've interviewed. How they had all this great material and was getting it started and blah, blah, blah. And then bam, COVID hit and it just completely slowed everything down. So, I mean, it's obviously it's going to take time to get back out there. But like I said, I think you guys are great. I don't, I'm not particularly a kind of guy that will, blow smoke up your ass and say, man, your band is so awesome, when I really don't think it is. You know what I mean? I'm like, you guys are good, and I think in a way guys like hearing that, just because it's constructive criticism. Other guys might be like, well, the hell with you, and they hit the end button or whatever. But, I really do. And, I listen to Twine, I listen to, Leave Me Be. And I started to listen to what was the other, War Down or Wear Me Down, something
Worn
like
down.
that. Yeah, Worn Down.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed them all.
Cool,
So
Thank
I
you.
think honestly, you guys have a bright future. I mean, your music is it's raw, and it's where it's kind of where everything is right now, as far as, like, I know the radio station that we have here, our rock station. I mean, I heard the band Muse.
Yeah.
Okay, I heard a song by them today. Let me look at my notes here. It was called "Won't Stand Down," and it sounded nothing like them. And it's
Wow.
like, the Blitz wouldn't even play them before. So I was thinking, man, these guys have reinvented themselves, like, what you're saying. And,
Mm-hmm.
it, I just, would love to see, a third EP from you guys. I'd love to see, a tour out there to where I could catch you live. Cause I mean, I think, my personal opinion is live is where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could,
That's where all the energy's at. That's where all that rawness comes from.
right.
But I think our producer did do a really good job trying to capture our rawness on our recording, especially this recording. I think that this recording is much more raw than our first EP that we put out.
Yeah, and it's or I know a lot of people right now, what they're doing is they're releasing a new single from their EPs, weekly or monthly or whatever. So how are you guys basing your schedule?
I haven't even thought about that yet. So I heard you say weekly. I'm like, I don't know if that's possible. Maybe monthly. So
Right.
So maybe monthly, excuse me, maybe monthly we'll do a new single. But I mean, I'm just trying to hunker down and get some more tracking done, really. Because I do want this third EP out, because this third EP, I mean, we sat on the second EP for, I want to say, like a year and a half to 2 years because of COVID. And in that time, we wrote new material. So
Right.
I'm excited to get that new material out too.
Right. Well, and I mean, you definitely got a great person in your corner, your publicist. She constantly sends me press releases, and so that I don't really offend anybody. There's some that, I kind of just look over, but, when she sent me yours, I was like, oh, hell yeah, you got to get me these guys. I love it.
Cool.
So, it's, you're not always going to like everything that somebody sends you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but I mainly, that's why my website is rockmusicandmore.com. But, I mainly am in rock, but I'll give anything a shot. I mean, I'm a music person. You know what I mean? I love to listen to music. If I think it's good, I mean, there's a couple of R&B songs that I listen to that, are new ones. The Weekend, Blinding Lights, or just a couple others that were, struck my fancy, or, even country. So I'm not genre specific, but when it comes to it, this is what I love. I mean, there's nothing like going to a rock concert and just, the mosh pit, the energy, the just, it's great. And I think you guys as an artist, I mean, I know if that was me standing up on the stage and people were doing that to my music, I would lose it, man. I don't even know how I would be able to handle that kind of, I mean, how do you take something like that in,
It's just have fun, man. Live in the moment. That's my motto. I mean, when you see that kind of shit out there, just soak it up, because it could be over tomorrow.
Right.
You never know. So just soak it up, have fun.
Well, here in Columbus, we had I don't know what's going on with it now. It was Rock on the Range, and then it turned to Sonic Temple, and now it's nothing. So I don't know if they're going to bring it back or not. But I remember going to Rock on the Range, and Lincoln Park was one of the headliners that night, and they did In the End, and there was, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. There was like 60 or 70,000 people there, and just the whole crowd was singing the chorus. And I thought, my God, I was just kind of looking around, looking at cell phones and everything, just like, this is so amazing. It was one of the greatest feelings ever. And I was just like, how does Mike Shinoda and Chester Bennington and all the other guys right now feel that this enormous stadium is singing their song back to them?
Yeah,
I think that would be an amazing
that must be the
feeling.
Greatest feeling. Yeah,
right.
That's got to be awesome.
So
I've not experienced that yet, but
well, yeah, I mean, awesome. That's what I'm saying. It's just like everybody's is different, I mean, Lincoln Park hit when, you call it the rap rock, however you want to call it, they hit when it was booming. So, they was very successful and a great live band. And again, that's, you can listen to it on the radio, or you can listen to it at the time on a CD or whatever, but to see it live is just so much greater. I mean, and that's what, I think it's just with performances, man, you guys come out and you give it your all, and, the crowd loves that shit. I mean, you come out and stand in front of the microphone, and you're just kind of, people, they're still going to enjoy the tunes, but they're like, man, where's the energy?
Yeah. I mean, and Chester, from Lincoln Park, he screams his ass off live. Like he holds back on the records, but live, he just goes full bore. It's awesome.
Yeah. That was definitely a tragedy, man. So like, what are we talking for the third EP? What are you thinking as far as a release date?
Man, if we can get everything tracked and mixed and everything, I'd love to release it at the end of summer.
Nice. So if that doesn't,
that's the goal.
If it doesn't work out, what are we talking? Fall, maybe winter?
Not winter. If we can do fall, definitely do fall. But you generally don't release anything during the fourth quarter, because that's like the holidays and all that. So if we can't get it out by then, it's got to be January.
Gotcha. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you sitting down and talking with me.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me, and great conversations. I love just having good old conversations about music.
Well, and that's why I call it Let's Talk Music, because, I want to know a little bit about you, a little bit about your band, a little bit about your music, but, also just to talk about music with somebody that's in music is great too. So just one other question. What what was I going to say? See, I got it all caught up there. No, I just, oh, you guys aren't signed to a label, correct?
No, we're doing all this ourselves. And
okay.
That's what takes us so long.
What I'll do is here at the end of the, once we get this done, I'll edit it and get it up on YouTube. Do you mind if I tag the, all at once in there at the end of it for people to watch?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, just want to get your permission, because I've been other bands where I didn't think I was going to get hit with a copyright claim because, I'm actually interviewing the people that made the song. I got hit with one. So
that's weird. Bands are weird like that. No, yeah, we don't care.
All right, cool, man. Well, you have a good rest of your afternoon, and hope to see you guys around soon.
Great, man. Thank you so much, and have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
don't deal with losing touch with all around me. There's no like a fiend, so